Welcome students. Just have a look at this. You would be surprised that why am I talking about these three emojis over there. But I know that most of you are very expert in using all these three emojis, or there are so many emojis that are used in social media. So you would be wondering about why these three emojis are there. If you closely observe these three emojis, they are talking about frustration. They are talking about what to do, that is confused, and this one is talking about surprise. And yes, if you see, just simply pay attention to these six words over there, you will realize that this is the real cause of confusion, because most of the time we fail to understand whether we are going to use on, above, over, because the meaning is something upward, below, under, and beneath. The meaning is something downward. So we are confused because for us they all mean same, but very closely if you observe, they have shade of meaning. They have particular situation in which they are used. And today we are going to see all these situations wherein these words are properly used. And these words are labeled as, yes, you guessed it correct, preposition. So what are these prepositions and how to avoid this particular confusion we are going to see in this particular video. So first of all, let us see what exactly preposition is. Preposition is the word that connects or links noun with another pronoun or pronoun with noun in a sentence. They always talk about the relationship and they are placed before the noun that they are going to connect. For example, there is something in my pocket. Something in my pocket. So pocket and something, these two nouns are connected together by this word in. There is another example that there is a ceiling fan over my head. Over is the preposition that is connecting the fan and head, these two nouns. So how these different prepositions are used, what are their different types, and most importantly, that what we are going to look into the explanation in which condition, in which situation these particular words are used. It is because the time prepositions are the same in place prepositions. So what is the difference? The difference is in the situation, in the event, in the incident, in the sentence, that we need to be alert when we are using them. So what are the different situations, in which particular conditions we have to use one particular preposition, we are going to look. From that point of view, please pay attention to this particular video. And the slides are self-explanatory. If you simply look at the slides and read it, you will understand exactly in which situation the particular word or the preposition has to be used. Yes, the first type of preposition is prepositions of time. And out of the prepositions of time, the slide talks about the preposition of in and in which situations the preposition has to be used. As you can see, it has to be used with seasons, weeks, months, years, length of time, parts of the day, centuries, and decades. You can frame these sentences in your own words. For example, if you ask me to frame one or two for you guys, I can say that the climate of Mumbai is cool in winter season. So here we are talking about in winter season. We are talking this particular in, we are using this particular preposition in from the time sense, and that's why it is preposition of time. And as I said, in can also be preposition of place. So what would be the different situation or the scenario in which we are going to use in as preposition of place, that we will discuss later. But as of now, we need to pay attention that these are the different situations, 8 situations in which we are going to use in as preposition of time. And you can have your own sentences. Please frame your own sentences and send it to me, or maybe you can write it below the YouTube video, or you can simply mail me. In the end of this discussion, I will be giving you my mail as usual. So, and this very wonderful slide that I could come across as www.englishstudyhere.com. At this website, if you can visit, you can have a look at this particular slide. Yes, the same slide and the same website that I was talking about. This is another preposition of time, on. See, on is such a word which confuses us. In the beginning itself, you realize that it was there. The first word that I used is on. So as a preposition of time, these are the different situations wherein you need to use them. For example, dates with month and day. On April 13th. Days of the week on Monday. For example, on every Monday I visit college. On 27 July, I will upload another video. Days of the month, on plus day plus part of the day. For example, on Sunday morning, morning, or Monday evening. So you can have your own sentences. You can frame 2 3 sentences of each situation so that you get ample practice of using on as a preposition of time. And as I said, on is also a preposition of place. So again, it confuses us with how to use it, because there would be always a question in every examination, whether you are from state board or maybe CBSE board or maybe for diploma or sometimes maybe for degree or any other professional courses. The usage of preposition is asked because they make our sentences, our writing very crisp and to the point and correct. In order to use these prepositions correctly, we have to have ample practice, cautious ample practice, so that we can master the usage, or you can get maximum marks. Maybe it is competitive examination or maybe your board examination. So I was talking about preposition of time. At is another confusing preposition, and first of all we will talk about in this situation it has to be used as preposition of time. At means at night, particular time or particular holiday, we are going to use this particular at. For example, at night, at 7 o'clock, at 6:35 p.m., at Christmas, at the weekend. You can have your own sentences of these particular words so that you get practice. Remember, unless and until you practice this cautiously, if you are not alert by using them, you are bound to fail in usage. And let me tell you, there are very few people they can understand your mistakes when you are speaking or you are using. But in examination, obviously the experts we are going to evaluate your papers, and they are bound to fail you, or they are bound to give you wrong or maybe negative marks if you are using them wrongly. There is another preposition, or there are two prepositions of time. They create confusion how to use them, in which situation we need to use them, and they are since and for. Since is such a preposition that has to be used when we have started the action somewhere in the past and even in present the action is going on. In order to mention that particular situation, we have to use since. For example, I have been teaching since 2006. Means what? I started my teaching career somewhere in 2006 and even today it is going on. And as long as I am alive and my vocal cords are working, obviously I will be talking about or continuing. The point is the action started somewhere in the past and even today it is going on. At particular time it started. And that's why I have mentioned 2006. So in this situation you have to use since. But as far as for is concerned, this has to be used whenever you want to mention amount of time or amount of period. Have a look at this particular example. He has been walking for 30 minutes. Now 30 minutes. You don't know when when the person started the action of walking. But you simply want to give the sense of period or a time, amount of time. 30 minutes, 10 years. In that situation, you have to use for. If you replace it in spoken language, the person may understand exactly what you want to say, but as far as written examination is concerned, you are bound to fail in it, or maybe if it is a competitive examination, you are bound to get negative marks. That's why you need to be very very careful when you are using. And most of the time, this particular since and for this usage is asked. Now they are very, I mean, the examiners are in love of these particular prepositions. And these are some prepositions that they are very easy to understand, like ago, before, to. We by the examples itself you will understand what exactly I want to say. Or if you don't want to understand if you fail to understand directly example, read the explanation first and then go for the examples. They are very easy, there is nothing confusing, and even you are not confused whether to use ago, where to use ago, before or to. They are very self-explanatory. So needless to talk about them, let's have a look at some more, like past, from, till, until, by. Yeah, there is one confusion about this particular preposition of place, that is above and over. Both indicate something is there upward. But as far as over is concerned, it is the lower object and the upper object. They are, I mean, it is the the upper object is completely vertical. And as far as the position is concerned, the upper object is over there and the lower object is here. As I said in the beginning of this particular session, that there is a ceiling fan over my head. If I am completely under it, vertically under it, in that situation I can use over. But make sure that there is a space between these two objects. For example, this is the space. And as far as above is concerned, this is also upward direction. But here, not necessarily that the object, the upper object is completely vertical to the lower object. But as far as the position is concerned, it is upper. And in that situation, you can say above. There is a cloud above my head, you can say. So this is what the confusion is, and please pay attention to this particular one. Not only with above, there is a confusion of on with over, that we will see. On and over, the confusion is this. On means there is a touch. For example, there is a mobile phone on the table and there is a ceiling fan over my head. So on means there is a touch between the two objects, the lower and upper objects, there is a touch. As far as over is concerned, there is no touch. So this is a minor observation that you need to pay attention to. Similarly, preposition of place, whether to use below or beneath or under, underneath. See the picture itself, you can understand it. Under can be used when one object is covered by another object. You see this. This particular red circle is under this particular rectangular. But here, this particular red circle is below this particular rectangle because there is a space between these two. Here, there is no space over there. It is covered, almost covered. So in this particular situation, please pay attention to these particular prepositions. And as I told you, the difference between on and over. On means there is a touch, over means there is a space between these two objects. This picture is very clear. At this particular website, I could come across this particular picture. Preposition of place, at, in and on. The situations in which you are going to use this particular at a specific point of time or place. For example, at home, at work, at university, at college, at the bus stop, at the traffic lights. In, whenever there is enclosed space or large place with boundaries. For example, in the house, in a car, in a helicopter, in a boat, in this manner you can use them. On, surface attached to or close to the river. See these particular examples. On the corner, on a train, on a plane, on a ship, on a bus, on the way. So you use these particular situations in your own sentences and you will realize it. Very cautiously try for it. Once you try for it very cautiously, you are bound to get them. Rest of the prepositions we will see in next video.